No, downstairs back home.
Yeah.
And that's upstairs. That was in the upstairs. Except on the wall, the hats and stuff. That's Australia.
Hello everyone, and thanks for coming to Salina's memorial service today. I wanted to share with all of you a few of my earliest memories with her. We grew up from the ages of 1 and 2 in the old family home on Capitol Hill in Burnaby, bought for us by our Finnish Canadian great-grandmother. And because we lived only a few minutes walk from Grandma and Grandpa's home up the old scenic highway, which was just a dirt road at the time, by the way, we spent a good part of our youth together with our grandma Cedric Groan, who would play for us and sing along to old Scottish records from Harry Lauder, songs such as Roman in the Gloamin' and A Wee Dot Ken Doris, as well as our Disney favorite, The Teddy Bear's Picnic. With Grandma's patience, we would also learn to beat eggs and whipped cream, as she would pretty much bake something fun every day of the week, as I recall. We probably saw the first season of Sesame Street at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and Saturday morning cartoons with strawberry and ice cream waffles and pancakes were always a lot of fun. Christmas and birthday dinner celebrations at the old house at the end of the road always involved Hawaiian sing-alongs, home movies depicting exotic Hawaiian vacations, and invariably some tipsy kitchen conversations brought on by our favorite, or the favorite, Codorniu champagne. We always had fun times upstairs with all the cousins, aunts, and uncles as we ate dinner on TV trays while watching The Wonderful World of Disney on the boob tube. As our mother was a single working breadwinner in that period of our life, we didn't have a lot of time for sports or extra activities. But I'll never forget the time Mum took Salina and I down to a pool near English Bay in Vancouver for our first swimming lesson. The instructor's technique was just to throw us into the water and hope for the best. I refused to enter a pool for quite a long time after that, but Salina must have loved the water because she later developed a lifelong love of swimming after we proceeded to get our C.G. Brown pool training under our belt. She went a little further than me, as I recall, and got to lifeguard level. She was probably inspired by Grandma once again, who used to show us old photos of her and her friends with their swimming caps on at the White Rock Beach where she grew up with the sea from which she was born. Salina would later change her last name to Brydson in honor of her. When we were around 9 or 10 years old, our grandparents took us both on a dream trip to Disneyland in Anaheim, California. Unfortunately for our sister Jacqueline, she was just a baby at the time and couldn't join us. Disneyland was a magical place for us, and it was on that trip that the pilot came out of the cockpit of the plane mid-flight and gave us both a set of Pan Am metal silver wings to pin on our jackets. This must have had a positive effect on Salina, because later she would go on to fall in love with and marry a pilot. Our grandparents were very generous and also paid for the whole extended family to fly to Kauai, staying at the beautiful Poipu Beach Hotel. This time Jackie was 5 or 6 and was able to join in the fun and adventure. Swimming there was like nothing we'd ever experienced, and one day Salina and I had heard about a body surfing beach not far from the hotel that we just had to check out. I don't recall how Salina felt after being thrashed in the waves, but I remember having my face slammed in the sand, getting a very sore back, and drinking a lot of unwanted salt water that day. Salina and I played tennis in an empty court, went out to swim in the ocean in a Hawaiian rainstorm, participated in a luau on the beach one night, saw the famous Waimea Canyon, and also took a day trip to the beach at Waikiki. All our childhood dreams had arrived. They were truly happy days for Salina and I. One of my sister's passions later in life was reading, writing, and researching, and I think it all started back at the old house on Capitol Hill. One of our earliest exposures to creative writing was left pinned on the bathroom wall for us to read every time we did our business there. It was an old poem written in the 1920s that was popular with the hippie subculture of the 1960s, and both Salina and I would have read it numerous times, if only a line or two here and there, now and then, as our poet father Howard Rafferty would have remarked. Christmas and birthdays would bring us our favorite Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys mystery books from Auntie Chris and Auntie Janet and Mum, and we would lose ourselves in reading in our upstairs vaulted ceiling bedrooms. Later in life, I would often share my story with coworkers about how I had falsely accused my sister of stealing one of my Hardy Boys books, and then find it a week later hiding under my bed. Whenever I misplace a tool at work, I always think of Salina to remind me of people's honesty. Later in life, Salina would win a runners-up citation in a short story contest involving the Yukon, where earlier she had met her future husband and spent a few happy years. I think she even got a part-time job hydraulically stripping a mine site with the help of her neighborhood friend, Heather Pearson, whose father was a geologist. Before Salina got married and settled down to have kids, she got a chance to live in Melbourne, Australia, where she worked for social services, and she also lived for a year in London, England, where she got a job at the London School of Economics, doing work on computer data entry for grading papers. Later, with Martin and the girls, a wonderful life in Discovery Bay, Hong Kong, led to a house exchange in Paris, France, where she got to practice her French language skills. Salina lived a full and rich life, but sadly had some level of depression that we had never grasped the magnitude of. Akio and I were walking across Hastings Street at Rosser in North Burnaby on a Saturday morning 2 weeks before she took her life in the cold water of Sassamat Lake. And we had had a friendly 10 or 15-minute chat on the sidewalk, joking about the pandemic and expressing hope for the coming summertime. We thought we saw a couple smiles underneath her colorful homemade mask she was wearing at the time, and we had no idea of what was coming for her. And I still don't understand it. Maybe we never will. Perhaps we can all be thankful that her mental anguish and suffering are all over now, and her two lovely and talented girls can somehow manage to carry on and become the women that my sister hoped and dreamed for. She loved Annika and Jocelyn, referring to them as the girls. And no matter what turmoil she faced in her final 5 years, she always had her girls to keep her steady. I'd love to think that Salina would have enjoyed listening to this old 1920s poem once again. Desiderata by Max Ehrmann. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence, as far as possible, without surrender. Be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him or her to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful. Strive to be happy. We love you, Salina. I would like to ask Jacqueline to come up now and say a few words.
For those of you on the live stream who don't know me, I'm Salina's sister, little sister, 7 years younger, So, growing up, not only did my mother raise me, but Salina raised me too. She had a huge influence on my life. She was everything I aspired to be. She raised 2 intelligent, beautiful daughters, and she raised me too. And I'm certain that I would not be who I am today without her. She was always kind and caring and always looked out for me. She was never mean and was always honest and selflessly shared her knowledge and experience with me. My friends loved her too. She was always there for me, but especially those big moments in life. She taught me how to drive. She taught me how to build a resume and apply for jobs and how to do my own income tax returns, which I still do. She took me for my first legal drink at a local pub. It was a Tuesday. Nobody was there but us, but it was the best day ever. She had a Harvey Wallbanger, which was her favorite drink at the time. She was there when my boys were born and was always there to help with them whenever I needed her, and there were times when I needed her. She supported me anytime I had to make a tough life decision and always encouraged me to do so without fear, as long as it was right for me, which is something she did as well. Integrity and honesty were everything to her, and so it is with me also because of her. She encouraged me to be independent, to be self-sufficient, and to get out into the world and experience it as much as possible. She also taught me to be resourceful. And she said to me once in my mom's kitchen, I can't remember what it was I said, I couldn't bake something or I couldn't make something. She said, kiddo, which is what she called me all the time. She said, kiddo, if you can read, you can cook. Of course, right? And I use that to this day. If somebody says, I can't make that, if you can read, you can cook. That's what Salina said. My kids could attest to that. When I planned a solo trip to Europe when I was about 18 or 19 years old, a lot of people in the family worried about that. They thought I was making a mistake, that it was dangerous for me to go alone. Not Salina. She cheered me on. She helped me plan it. She couldn't get me out the door fast enough. Go, experience it. And it was one of the best things I've ever done for myself. Scared the hell out of myself, but I did it, and it was amazing. And she was the one who inspired me to do that. She used to take me along with her and her friends to the lake and to other places. And I never felt unwelcome. Her friends were all kind to me as well. I was happy sitting in the back seat of her car, burning the backs of my legs on those hot vinyl seats in the summertime, listening to Salina and her friends chat with Fleetwood Mac in the background. I was in heaven. Those were some of the happiest moments I have ever had with her. Stevie Nicks will forever remind me of my sister. She always has. All of this may sound like I'm talking about myself, but it's not at all. The way she influenced me growing up speaks to who she was as a person. All of those things were who she was as a person. She was independent, resourceful, brave, one of the bravest people I've ever known. She was intelligent, incredibly intelligent, creative, kind, generous, but at the same time so humble. She was a rare one. One of Salina's friends, Sandy, said to me recently that she always considered Salina to be the most morally perfect person she has ever met, and that's the absolute truth. She was the most honest, authentic person I've ever known. She had our grandmother's heart, kind and generous. She had our grandfather's savvy business sense and toughness. She had our mother's intelligence and her father's creativity. She was the very best of all of us, and I will miss her more than anyone could ever know. Now I'm going to ask my mom to come up and read some messages from friends and family.
Thank you, David and Jackie. I think you've said everything that has to be said. I just want to read a few messages that we got from friends, and one of them was from Bidi, who Salina, who was Salina's friend in Hong Kong. My name's Bidi. I'm a friend of Salina's from Hong Kong. I just wanted to say how sorry I was to hear about Salina. She was a very good friend of mine here, and we've kept in touch after she left Hong Kong. My older girls, Saffron and Tara, were around the same age as Annika and Jocelyn and got on really well, so spent quite a lot of time together. I remember going to Salina's garden flat by the beach on hot sunny days so the kids could bounce on her trampoline with the sprinkler on full blast underneath it. She was always so laid back and never minded all the kids being at hers all the time. When weekends came, I would take her shopping in markets and found we had very similar tastes and just explored Hong Kong in general. She was always fun to be with, very down to earth and willing to try anything. We got on so well, we even managed a weekend holiday to Hanoi. We had a fantastic time together, and it was the first time I had a break from being with the kids since they were born. She was always so kind and generous, willing to do anything to help. I remember her helping me to set up a small flat I was renting out, and when she was leaving, gave me a lot of her kitchenware and furnishings to put in the flat. I was very upset when she returned home to Canada and missed her so much. I am so shocked and saddened by the news of her death and cannot imagine what your family and especially the girls must be going through. I've always admired her and her achievements in life with her IT business and more recently with the book she was writing. She was such an amazing person and I will always remember her. My two older girls still have memories of trampolining with Salina's girls and of sending letters to each other, though they are still quite young when they parted. We send all our deepest condolences to you all, and please give the girls big hugs from us. Our thoughts are with you all. And I got this message from Sandra, who was a friend of Salina's in the Yukon, and they maintained their friendship over the years. Salina was an amazing person. Everything she did, she put every effort into it and always excelled. As a mother, as a friend, everything. I remember that short story, Downriver, she submitted to CBC and it was a runner-up. I could not believe that she had never written a story before, as it truly captured a part of Yukon life that people experienced. I kept badgering her to write more stories and maybe put a book together. I mean, even the way she made coffee. I remember staying with her and so enjoying that cup that she carefully prepared. It was so very special and a memory I will forever cherish. I hope it gets easier for you and your family. She had such an amazing life, all the things she did, the friends and family she touched. I feel so privileged to have had such a dear friend all these years. I would also like to thank you for being so giving. I guess Salina learned that, how to make people feel accepted and special. Again, I am so sorry for you and your family. Take care, and I hope I can meet with you again, Sandra. And this is from one of your childhood friends, Lisa Perrin. Dear Auntie Diane, I am so very sorry to hear of the loss of Salina. I have fond memories of Jimmy and I playing with David and Sini, her nickname was Sini. My love to you, Dave and the family. This is from one of her soccer friends, Ardith Ellis. Dear family, it is a privilege to have known your beloved Salina and my privilege to honor her memory. Words cannot begin to express the magnitude of your loss, and my heart goes out to all of you as you grieve this beautiful soul. With gratitude for the gift of Salina, Ardith Ellis. And finally, I got this note from her book club. Dear Annika, Jocelyn, Diane, David, and family, we were so sad and surprised to hear of Salina's untimely passing. So many memories are rushing back of her, helping with the kids at Confed, trick-or-treating, and Christmas singing around the neighborhood with her beautiful voice, drinking wine on her porch with me while our kids bounced on the trampoline, and sharing her insights and laughter with our book clubs. A wonderful mom, neighbor, and friend, she will be deeply missed by all, but so much more for you, we know. All our hearts go out to you, your neighbors, and are always here whenever you need us. Love, Lise, Sarah, Charlene, Laura, Marilyn, Noor, and all the book club moms from Confed. And I want to thank everyone for sending in cards and flowers and for their donations to the Canadian Mental Health Association. Much appreciated. Thank you.
thanks again, everybody, for remembering Salina, and especially Jackie. I never knew half of what you were talking about, because you and Salina had such a special bond, and unfortunately I wasn't as close to Salina as you were, so I really appreciate hearing from your point of view and your perspective. We all love and we're going to miss Salina, and we just wish we could turn back the clock and say something to her to come on back to us. And it's just not going to happen, but we sure love Salina, and we will miss her forever. So thanks everybody. Thanks everyone who was able to tune in.